Are we live? I think we're live. Welcome guys, sorry for running a bit late. Had to cook up my tea and also get the mic set up. In this stream today, we will go through and reflect upon the week that has been. This week's challenge has mainly been focused on 4 different things, not as big of a change as compared to last week, but some tweaks. The biggest thing that we'll get to focus is the roof, the random act of fear-facing challenge that I took on. Also, depending on how long we run, I will be discussing waking up at 4 to 4:30 each morning, challenging your comforting way of living, like for me, my eating habits, and lastly, so much effort. Yeah, my approach to dealing with money loss, how I make money loss actually being worth it. But we'll see how far we will get. We will start out with discussing roof, random act of fear facing. I set out this week to do one little roof challenge each day. The thing is, the idea, the concept is that you should very easily be able to do something. Sorry, I haven't checked if the audio is working. God damn. It has happened when I've live streamed for like 30 minutes and I hadn't had any audio. I'm not gonna make that mistake again. I can't check before I go live. Yeah, we got audio. Boom. Back to my story. So, as I was, the whole idea with this roof thing is that it should be very easy to go do a fear-facing action. It doesn't have to be big or daunting. It's a matter of keeping the momentum going. It's a matter of making it a daily habit. And if we have too high of a bar of what is okay, it actually will result in us not doing anything. So instead of putting high pressure on ourselves, we just have a super low bar and we allow ourselves to just do something. And then when we get in the mood for it, when an opportunity emerges that actually is more daunting, it's much more easily accessible to go do that thing. But if we make sure to have the mindset of doing something daily, it's okay to do the small things, even if it's not like, it's not life-changing, but it is something small that scares you and you did it anyways. You proved to yourself that you're the kind of guy or girl that does what is scary. Daily. I keep nagging on with this because it's so goddamn important. Speaking from my own experience, building up this bank of reference cases, just going on about it. I mean, I know you, Jakin, really think I do shitty small things, like it's not worth shit. Oh, you went out, hugged the person. What the fuck is that all about? That's nothing. But that is a bit scary to me. I mean, it's not super scary because I've done it a lot of times. But if I'm just in a position where I'm not aiming to do something big, I'm still doing something, and that means so much more. As I've said a ton of times, running a marathon, big, daunting, really, really awful thing to do. Sure, that's good for you, but it's much, much better to do something daily when we're speaking of exercising. Going for a walk 30 minutes every day for a year compared to doing 2 marathons, I'd choose the walking thing every time. My point is, fear-facing on a daily basis, that will transform your life. And last Sunday I said, okay, this week on my way to work, I'm gonna force myself to do a roof challenge, random act of fear facing. Here's the context. I have like a 10-minute walk. I don't have time to do a lot of big things. I just want to have a quick stop, some social kind of fear facing interaction on my way to work. That was the challenge, and that was what I executed on. It proved, I wanted to prove that it doesn't have to take time or energy to do these things. It could be super easy. You don't have excuses like, oh, I don't have time for it, because it only takes a minute. At least that's what I've been doing Monday through Friday, not 5 days, well, also 5 days, but 5 days of daily fear facing on my way to work or home from work. It has made me proud. It has made me laugh and smile and be happy about these small little interactions where I've just randomly come up with some kind of thing I'm supposed to do with some random person. For instance, like I can actually show you the picture. It's on my blog. This is Helga. She owns a hairdressing store on my way to work. I walked past her the other day when I was filming with the camera, like, okay, I need to come up with some idea. And she was sitting there on the bench having a cigarette, and I was just, hey, would you like to be in a video here with me? Just give me some life tip or whatever. Tell me your story. And we just started interacting. It was nice. She was funny. I was smiling and had fun with it. Just a nice little moment there. Yeah, it was scary to start to ignite that thing, but in the end the reward was much bigger than the energy it cost me to do this thing. I actually recorded all these 5 interactions, and I will put those up in the Sunday video, where I will also expand more on the coming December theme. I will have a theme for the December month, like a Christmas theme. We'll get more into that. But I'm not going to drag this point out for anymore. My random fear-facing challenge this week has really paid off. I proved to myself this is what you need to do every day. Do something that scares you, and you will grow. You will feel the result. Not only the social skills you develop when you practice speaking to random people like this, but also the connection you get. You have this top moment of the day. It's just a nice, cherished little moment that you will enjoy. And also you will grow your self-esteem, because you put up a challenge for yourself and you went after it, even though it required you to really push yourself. That was one of my challenges this week, and for sure was fun. The second challenge, which I've been doing now for a while, has been to go up at around 4 to 4:30 each morning. That has also meant going to bed earlier. The cost has been less YouTube time and less eating time. Things I've been willing to give up, at least try to give up, oh, I just got a phone, sorry. I've been willing to give up that leisure time for productive morning time, because the thing is, when I get home at the evenings, I want to do these productive things anyways. I want to develop my YouTube channel and all those things, but I'm just I lack the willpower. I bet you lack the willpower when you have had a 10-hour work day. You get home and you're just wasted. So instead, I've been going up between 4 to 4:30 and just spending the 2 first hours of the day planning and strategizing, thinking about what I want to do, looking at the goals that I want to reach. And usually a lot of people say, yeah, have a goal planning session and come up with all the goals that you will follow for the coming 6 months. I kind of throw that idea aside, and instead I see it as a long-term process to actually come up with the goals, and allowing myself to let it take time to develop strategies and clear goals for what I want to do. Hey Armando, General Kenobi. And so yeah, going up this early and just investing time in yourself like this. I've been listening to people for such a long time that are speaking about how great it is to do these things, and I've been wanting to do it, but I mean it's hard. It's hard. Sitting here now, I can I can recommend you to try out the same thing Go up, start with maybe going up an an hour earlier than you usually do, and just sit down and focus on yourself. Where do you want to go? What do you need to do to get there? Those are like the two leading questions I've come to realize lately. What do you want out of life, and how can you get that? Keep asking yourself those questions on a daily basis to make sure that you are actually getting to where you want to go. That was the second challenge of the week. For sure has been fun too. I mean, just so much happening when we put up challenges and we have this short time span, like Monday through Friday, I'm going to do these things. It's long enough for something to actually happen, but it's short enough for you to not get sick and tired of it. Like I have tons of habits and routines that I work and play around with, but when it comes to Friday evening, Saturday and Sunday, I just let go of all the musts. I still do most of these things, but it's totally free of will. I can do whatever I want. But through the weekdays, that's when I live the strict life. And then Saturday, Sunday, the weekends, it's like a test. If they're really good, they will happen autonomous. And this is a really nice balance. That's also why I work with these week challenges, Monday through Friday. Short enough, long enough. Yeah, you just heard me. So that's been the second challenge, waking up super early. The third thing has been, again, to play around with my eating behaviors. For you, this doesn't have to be eating behaviors. It's just something that controls your life. Because food for me is like all I think about, dictates what I do throughout the days. I schedule my days after my eating habits and patterns. Even though I may not realize it or consciously acknowledge it, that's what happens. That is a realization after playing around with it. Last week I was only allowed to eat at work. This week I've only been allowed to eat in the sofa, not in front of the computer. And that thing has made me realize how controlled my life is by my addictions. Maybe food isn't your thing, as I just said. Maybe the phone is your addiction. Maybe porn is your addiction. Maybe, I don't know, something that just has this iron grip of you. Ask yourself, what would you cry hours and hours of if that thing was removed? And maybe ask yourself if maybe that's because you have a twisted relationship to that thing. And maybe, just maybe, put up a week challenge for yourself where you extract that thing from your life and see how it impacts you. It's only then you will realize what control it has over you. I mean, the food thing again. I've been working so much overtime just because I haven't been allowed to eat in front of the computer, because it's like no point of going home because I could eat at work instead, and there's no rules on how to eat there. And seriously, I've been working like almost 60 hours for 2 weeks in a row now. For sure I've had a lot of things to do, but I know a lot of that has to do with my addiction and the way food controls me. Again, what your addiction is, I don't know. That's something you need to ask yourself. The last little thing from my week challenge has been my way of handling loss. As I said last week, my stocks has been plummeting lately. It actually continued this week. It hurts just thinking about it. Thousands of dollars just poof up in the sky like that, and that hurts. But the way I deal with it, which I also talked about last week, is that I put up things like fear-facing challenges, which I attribute a specific value to. Like my random act of fear-facing challenges that I've been doing, they have been worth around 50 to 100 Swedish crowns. Just to give you some perspective, I've lost around, now I think it's up to 60,000 Swedish crowns, 50, 60. yeah, it doesn't really matter. But I attribute values to actions, which gives me that extra push. Like, okay, if I do this thing, I will pay off 100 crowns on my debt to myself. If I do something like that, it will actually mean that my loss, my financial loss there, actually had a value. It pushed me to go do this fear-facing thing. It is also something I use a lot at the gym when it's like this morning. I had a shitty start on my workout. I wasn't that energized. So I like, okay, Alex, 30 crowns. If you do a real intense set of leg raises here, or squats, or whatever, just giving me that extra thing to motivate me. And then I can just write it up, check it off, and like, damn, I did that. And it makes it worth it. And then I summarize the days, how much money I've paid off my debt, and in the end of the week, how much money I've paid off myself. Actually, I'm having a date on Saturday with Molly, the speed dating girl. We're going out for sushi. She's been sick for 2 weeks. I've been looking forward for this for so long. But that thing is actually worth 500 crowns for me. Me pushing myself to go do something uncomfortable. And I'm also going to a Christmas party tonight. That's actually worth 50 crowns. Just making a point here and how to think, how you can make this work for you. It doesn't really have to be financial loss. It could be like you did something really stupid, like, oh fuck, I just missed my train and that will make me waste an hour here doing nothing. How can I make this hour worth me missing my train or whatever? Just have this mindset, like, something shitty happened. How can I challenge myself to make that shitty thing worth it? That will push me to do something I not would have done otherwise. That's what I've been playing around with this week, and it has really made me do a lot of awful, in the end, great things which I else wouldn't have done. Those things has had focus of my week. It's been a great week. So much have been done. So much reflections and personal growth has happened. And of course, the fear-facing moments, stuff like this, for sure has paid off. It's been a great week. All thanks to me daring to put up challenges for myself and then just doing it. That's my conclusion of the week. Now let's see if we get some questions. Armando says, is measuring fear-facing equal money working? Is it working? Yeah. I mean, it depends on your investment in like for me, my financial loss, it hurts, really hurts. So I'm so determined to make it worth it. So if I then do this, which I just spoke of, if I put up before doing something, like in the morning when I've done my waking up early, daily strategizing and planning, I set out rope challenge, random act of fear-facing challenge. It's worth 70 crowns today. I've done that in the morning, so I've had that in the back of my head as an extra push. So for me, it for sure has worked. But I mean, if you don't care about what happened, if you don't care about losing money, then it won't give you that extra thing. You can also use it the other way around, like, okay, if I do this thing, I actually get to spend $100 on whatever I want, like a reward, a treat, some kind of thing. It's individual. For me, it really works. I can't say if it works for you if you haven't tried it. So try it. Try it. Besides that, what's up with you guys? I see we got 4 people watching here. Where are you from and what fears have you been facing this week? Or do you have any random question whatsoever? Just throw it out there and we'll see if we can answer it. Let's take this away. Oh, now where's my picture? Oh shit. I put up another picture here, it's gone. Anyways. Fireplace. You know, it's minus degrees outside here in Stockholm. It's been snowing some throughout the week. It's really cold, and the Christmas is around the corner. Super nice. And hence and going to this Christmas party tonight with the company. It's over 200 people there. That's all actually, that's also gonna, fuck, that is also gonna add to the Christmas spirit. 1st of December, I think it's tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? I'm allowed to start listening to Christmas music. Boy, do I love Christmas. Okay, Armando says, I just failed the fear facing. I'm on a bus back from university. Okay, first off, what do you mean by failing a fear facing? Did you fail to actually execute, or did you fail in terms of what you wanted to get out of it? Like, you wanted to talk to a girl, you did that, you wanted to get her phone number, but you didn't get that. So what kind of fail did you do? Wayne says, how do you manage being productive, like studying, working out, going out, etc.? Ooh, that's a big question. A whole lot has to do with discipline, just being goddamn determined, being so clear in what you want, goal-oriented. And you do that by asking yourself what you want out of life, and then just deciding that you want that so bad that you are willing to give up on the things that is stopping you. For me, like food, YouTube, all these nice things, they are hindering me from doing what I want. My mobile phone, distractions. The best way to do what you need to do is to remove distraction, set out a specific time you need to work on this thing with, and then put up also a deadline for what you want to accomplish before the specific time run out. So you actually are very specific in what you want to do, and put up a specific time for how long you're allowed to work on that, but also remove distractions that will take your focus away. Now, this is very easy to say, but it's very, very hard to actually execute on, because, well, you're not used to doing this, and your mind will do everything it can to remove you from this uncomfortableness of sitting and actually doing one thing, because you're just so used to entertaining yourself all the time. But one key thing, which I spoke about earlier in the stream, is to plan out the things that is actually important when you have a high level of willpower. Willpower is directly correlated to how much effort you have already put in throughout the day. Like in the morning, you're fresh, you don't have things that distracts you. That is the time where you should be doing your most important stuff. That's why I've these last couple of weeks shifted my approach with waking up early and spending the 2 first hours of my day just focusing on what's important to me, not my work or career. That comes later, but that has been super hard to not start off right away with that. I used to have the approach like, okay, I start out with work, get those hours done with, and then I can do my personal stuff. But in the end of the day, I've always been so exhausted by working, so I haven't found that discipline and time to actually do what I wanted to do. Hence, I changed it. Started with the most important things. That is just some of the ways that I go about to be productive and do all the things. And there's actually a really good channel. I can put a link to that later. Productivity Game, I think it is. It does really short book summaries on how to stay productive, and it's a super good channel. That went lengthy. Let's see what Armando has to say. Objective. Okay. He said, I just failed a fear facing, action, and I asked what kind of fail he meant by that. Objective. Say any shit to... objective. This is what he wanted to do. Say any shit to start a conversation. I've done it before, but today my anxiety was too much. After an hour, I call it the day. That sucks. As I've said to you earlier, it's very important when you put up a challenge and you fail to execute. Like I've done a lot of times. Maybe I wanted to go approach some girls and go talk to some girls, but in the end, it hasn't been my day. I wasn't able to do that. But I always renegotiate the terms. I never leave a fear-facing challenge without doing something, because that actually hurts our self-esteem. That hurts our ability to go back to it again, because it creates this kind of emotional scar within. So I always lower the bar, sometimes so low that it's basically nothing, but it's always something. So because I'm allowed to renegotiate my terms. So it could be sometimes like, just I want to talk to a girl, and then that doesn't happen, so I lower it to like, okay, I just need to say hi to any kind of random person. It can be super simple or whatever, but then I've done something. I've found through experience that this really doesn't leave me feeling like I failed. It's just, then I can realize, then I can tell myself in an easier way, today wasn't my day, but at least I did something. And actually you can have this mindset with when you fail to do anything as well. Maybe you just had a shitty day and you weren't supposed to do anything. Then it's okay to tell yourself, okay, I'll do it next time. But through experience, I found that if I at least do something, if I lower the bar super much, that has made it easier to accept that kind of failure. Yeah, that's my take on it. Any tips how you dealt with something similar? Armando was just to follow up on that. And yeah, as I've said, I've done with something similar tons of times, but I make sure to renegotiate my objective. What do I want to accomplish here? Okay, I won't be able to do that today, but something easier I can always do. That's how I deal with it. But also, it's so important to be your own best friend, especially when you're out there facing fears on your own. You don't have anyone to talk to. You can't call a friend or anyone. You need to be your best friend. You need to be able to talk to yourself in a good, comforting way. It's like, okay, this is okay. I mean, I'm not fucking perfect, but at least I'm out there trying. I mean, so many people, they just sell for whatever kind of life they're living. I'm fucking out here and I'm trying. I'm out here and I've set out an objective for myself. Maybe it was too high, but at least I'm trying. So just having this conversation with yourself. I do that every time when it just doesn't go the way I planned it to go. And I see myself as my own best friend, and I, for sure, have the ability to comfort myself. And also we got Jared here. Nice seeing you around. It's been a while. He says, how do you push through your fear when the time comes to actually do your fear facing? I tend to walk away when it gets too hard, and I want to change that. He also follows up with, depression and anxiety makes it harder for me, Armando, but I'm trying to not make excuses. Okay, to actually, my way of actually pulling the trigger, I got some different techniques. Like I've tried a lot of tips and techniques from other people. We have this one thing from Mel Robbins where you're supposed to like count down from 5, just up in your head, and you don't know what to do. So you're supposed to like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you just go execute. That thing It's something I use at times, but not that much. I use it more when I'm at the gym and I hesitate to start a workout or whatever. I just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I go up. I use it in the morning when I try to get up from the bed. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I just get out of bed. It makes you think of something else, and it's also like a countdown. You know, when you get to 0, something is supposed to happen. So it's kind of like a little trick to distract yourself to go do what you're supposed to do. However, when it actually comes to fear facing, I don't know if it's something I've used that much. Let's just see how it has been this week okay, there was this moment, I think it was Wednesday. I had decided to do a fear-facing action, something random, and I was walking on the street, and like 5 meters in front of me, there was this woman walking. She was nicely dressed, and she looked like a nice person. Ding, 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 fear identified. Start talking to her. Once that thing was out there, I knew I had to do it. I had defined the fear. That is actually the first step. Be aware enough to realize what scares you, and then define it. What is it? What exactly is it that you fear to do? What is it that you want to do? Right there, this Wednesday, walking, I told myself, I want to start talking to her. That is what I want to do. Now it comes down to actually doing it. I defined the fear. I've decided I'm going to do it. Now let's do this thing. But that's hard. That's the tricky part. That's super tricky. So how did I do it? Well, I walked behind her for maybe like 500 meters, 3 or 4 meters perhaps. She had her earphones plugged in. I felt my anxiety rise within. I started to have these stories, the excuses, the reasons for why I shouldn't do it. Because this is a phase we go through. First we identify the fear, then we come to we identify it, we define it, and then we come to the storytelling part, where we actually tell ourselves all these reasons and excuses for ourselves to not go through with what we want to do. And this is not a small thing. We need to be on our toes here, because we will come up with these detailed explanations for us not to do it. Explanations, stories, and histories that are actually so good that we buy into them. It's like, yeah, it makes sense. I really shouldn't talk to her right now because, oh, I'm 3 minutes late to work. I have this thing to focus on, and I really, really need to do this. Like, you need to be so sharp on calling your bluffs, because you will lie to yourself. You will do everything. Your mind, your brain will do everything it can to make you avoid that fear-facing moment that stands in front of you. So how do we do this? How do we not buy into our stories? Well, you make sure to stay focused on what you just defined. Before the stories came up, you had defined the thing that you wanted to do. You wanted to talk to this person because there's something higher. There's a reason for why you want to talk to that person. That thing must be focused. That thing must be crystal to you, because that is what will drive you. It's something bigger than whatever small shitty excuse that will stand in your way. Talking to her this Wednesday, when I was walking there, I reminded myself, like, Alex, why do you want to talk to her? Well, this is a fair challenge. You have decided to do this because you know you have so many reference cases telling you that when you do something that scares the crap out of you, it will always be worth it in the end. you boost your self-esteem because you did something that was tough and just scared the crap out of you. You increase your social skills, being able to talk to anyone, anywhere, at any given time. Both of these things are very strong goals for me. I look at myself as the kind of person that doesn't let fear stop me. I want to live a life of freedom, and if I'm going to live that kind of life, that means I constantly need to be facing my fears. Secondly, I honestly, genuinely want to have this ability to be able to speak with anyone at any given time, anywhere, because I know that connection is like one of the major things, like the major purposes with life. That's what will bring me joy, happiness, and just makes me feel satisfied with life. I want to do this. I want to talk to her. I must talk to her. It's not a question of maybe. It's my purpose to go do this thing right now. And you may think that, did you really say all that thing to yourself in that short amount of time? No, I didn't. But I very briefly reminded myself of my goals, because that's like in the morning when I think about what I want to accomplish, I remind myself of what I want to do. I remind myself to push myself. I remind myself that if I want to be free, I need to do what's hard. If I want to be able to talk to girls, I need to practice that. And it's going to fail, it's going to hurt, but I need to keep doing it over and over and again. To really, really make this, to summarize this a little bit, be very clear in what you want in life, and just decide that that's the only way you want to live. And how you actually then get to do things is that you need to baby step things. If it's perhaps too much of a challenge, then you need to lower the bar and start small. I've done hundreds, thousands of fear-facing challenges, but I've started small. I've incrementally grown myself to be able to do these things. So you need to be on a kind of sort of suitable level for you. If you aim too high, it's going to be too daunting and you're not going to do it. So maybe that's also the case. Try to lower the bar and don't be impatient. This is a game called life. You have time to develop yourself. So you need to have patience, and you need to just have grit. What a long answer. Carwan, man, nice seeing you around. How are you? Carwan is actually one of my friends from work. Will I see you at the Christmas party later? First time I see him around here. You should be working. It's only... Okay, maybe you're not. You just missed my YouTube rant. Or maybe you didn't. I've been talking now for 38 minutes. Oh, we have Christopher Mandela here too. Just saying hi on the train home. Good to see you, friend. Yeah, hi Christopher. I called you later, but you didn't pick up. Maybe you didn't want to talk to me. Yeah, nice. I will see you later, Carwan. So we actually have 5 people joining here. If there isn't any more questions, I need to actually prepare for this Christmas party of mine. But I'll give it another 30 seconds. So if you got anything, throw out a question. Otherwise, we will be satisfied for today. Almost 40 minutes of live streaming here. I don't know about you, but I for sure have had a nice time. It's so warm and cozy. Of course, Sunday we will have... oh, did I actually pause? Sunday there will be a video coming out it's actually going to be a little summary of this week's challenge, where I've been approaching one person every day, just a small fear-facing action, just to prove what I talk about, the concept of doing something small daily. It works even if you have zero time. It's just a matter of doing something small, and even if you do something small, the payoff is worth it. Daily fear-facing, creating that habit, creating that routine that will change your mindset, that will change your approach to life. And we have no more questions coming in, so that means this is the end of this little stream. It's been really nice having you all here. And actually, before I go, I just need to thank you. We just crossed over to 400 subscribers. I mean, seriously, that's great. 400 of you guys, warms my heart to think about it. I mean, okay, here's a confession. I actually, when I look at people like me, that they are like small YouTubers or whatever, they're perhaps not that experienced, and they sit there and they talk about how to live life, how to do things, like, I cringe. I can't watch that. It's like, seriously, I all the credit for you doing that, but seriously, I can't watch it. That just hurts within. So you guys actually watching me when I sit here and go random sharing my experiences, yeah, it warms my heart. It honestly does. And thank you for that. I continue to do this a lot thanks to you guys, and it's just I have so much fun with this. This is the reason why I do this. For you guys, for my own personal growth, but also I have so much fun doing this shit. Creating videos, going out there, crazy missions, it just adds a ton of value to my life. Jared says, thanks man, maybe starting small is best, but I'll try not to lose patience.